Back to Hawthorn Dene. Temperatures are down 10 degrees on yesterday, which is fantastic because it was too damn hot. Yeah, looking forward to this one. It won't be the same as last year. We're a couple of weeks late, as we've already seen from Bishop Pyramidal. There'll be quite a few gone over, but there's always plenty to see at sites like these. These were absolutely rammed with orchids last year. I'll have a peep to see if that fantastic frog orchid hybrid is still here. I don't think it is. No one's reported it, but I'll have a peep. But I'm not here to see that. I'm really here to see all the ones that I didn't see last year or take any notice of last year. I want to do it more thoroughly just so I can tick it off once and for all. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Hawthorn Dene, here we come. Hawthorn Dene is made up of old quarry workings, and which is the main part of the site, which we should be coming on to shortly, but also these extensive flower meadows, which last year had quite a lot of common spottids in, so I'm going to have a wander around and see what's what. I daren't turn my nose up at it, there might be something lurking, so we'll go take a look. Lots of purple flowers. Looks like a rhodochilla orchid paradise, but they're not orchids, unfortunately. In fact, I haven't seen a single orchid. I don't know. I'm not an expert on wildflowers, but yeah, they are very, very remarkably close to some orchids that I've seen, but they're not. And wherever the common spotted orchids were, they're not there now. They've gone over, I suspect. Absolutely nothing. Keep looking. Aha, now that is an orchid. It's only a pyramidal, but it's an orchid. We'll have that. Pyramidal orchid. Well, that's a field devoid of common spotted orchids, so I'm hoping that doesn't hint at what we might find or not find when we reach the quarry. Looks like we won't be coming up short on the old pyramidal orchid front. Good old short fragrant orchids. I was pretty sure we'd find some of these. Unfortunately, this part of the quarry is not open. I think part of it's still being used, although I've never seen any evidence to back that up. But what a fantastic site that could well be for orchids in decades to come. Fingers crossed somehow this is secured by the same sort of wildlife trust that looks after the rest of it, because I'd love to get in there. I bet there's some special stuff in there. Although I've not come here to see the hybrid that we were looking for last year, not come here to see that this time. I'm just going to wander past the spot where it was just in case. I'm pretty sure it didn't return because people would have spotted it by now and reported it, and they haven't, so I doubt it came back. If it did come back, it's probably gone, but I can't really come here and not look, so I'll give it a quick few seconds search. Been up and down twice, no sign of it, so a lot of browned off stuff, so it could have been here, but I don't think it returned. Somebody would have found it. So we can scratch that one and get on with the main site, which is what we came here for. That's a nicely coloured common spotted. Hope we'll find a few of these. Quite a densely flowered pyramidal, but at the moment most of what I'm seeing look more like that. A lot of them have gone fully over, so not looking too promising, but it's a big site and a long way to go, so fingers crossed. Nice little common spotted. I won't tell you there ain't many of these around. I quite like that for a pyramidal with a sort of white heart to it. Quite unusual. It's a nice pinky white one. Another of those cute white-hearted pyramidals. Well, that was disappointing. I've not finished, but this bank I've just walked along was really rammed last time I came, and if anything this was the area I thought I'd pick up a few special items, but they've gone over more than they've gone over on the other sites we visited, you know, compared with Bishop Midland. This is at least 2 weeks further along the line. I mean, even the chalk fragrant orchids are 90 to 100% brown, really. There's a few that aren't, but you know, most of them at least 50% gone over. Common spotted, no chance. I've seen about 3 in total, and there were hundreds if not thousands here before, and you can see them. You can see all the brown stalks, so they have gone over. So it really has accelerated along here, and I don't know the reasons for that. May well have something to do with the mix of climate here and the rain and the sunshine they've had this year, but they're certainly far more advanced, as in gone, than I expected. I'm about to move on to another plateau here where I'm pretty sure last time I came there were some juvenile marsh fragrant orchids, and I'm really hopeful that they'll be at their peak and not gone over. So that's my next goal here. They might save the day. Otherwise it's pyramidals that will save the day. Nice to find a fairly fresh, in fact it's not even fully open, chalk fragrant orchid. Most of them at least slightly gone over. So yeah, a bit of a mystery really. It's the first pink chalk fragrant orchid I've seen here. Unlike yesterday's large crop. Nice to see. That one was burning my eyes from about 30-40 yards away. Very vibrant. It's about the smallest common spotted orchid I've ever seen. That flower head's about 1 inch tall. It would have been quite nice if it grew up a little bit. That's actually a half decent common spotted orchid. More like to see a ghost orchid, I think, here today than a common spotted. There's very few. That's a nice one. I keep thinking when I see these and calling them chalk fragrant orchids, whether they are actually marsh fragrant orchids. You know, they're very densely flowered, and you know, densiflora is the name given to marsh fragrant orchid for good reason. And you know, chalk fragrant ones tend to be a little bit more sparse in flower. These sort of tight, cylindrical, densely flowered fragrant orchids, I don't know, they look more like marsh fragrant. I'll probably leave this one till I get home, put it at the bottom of the screen. These could well be pretty small, which is what's throwing me. Pretty small marsh fragrant orchids. If not, it's a chalk fragrant orchid. You can make your own mind up, but you've already seen what I think at the bottom of the screen. But I went through all this last year. Confusion. That to me is a chalk fragrant orchid. You can see the flowers, there's gaps between them, they're not densely packed in, they're loose, not particularly tall either, so I'd be happy to call that a chalk fragrant orchid. But I think some of the others, without a doubt, are marsh fragrant orchids. I say without a doubt, there is a doubt, but yeah, I think this is a chalk fragrant orchid. They actually look like they've got little white pieces on them, but it's not really, it's just the top of the hood as it's still opening. Well, this one's just 6 foot away from the previous one. As you can see, the flowers on this are densely packed in. You know, there's no gaps, it's not spaced out, and it's nearly fully open. That to me has to be a marsh fragrant orchid, simply because of the density of the flowers. And a sort of tight cylindrical flower head as well. So I think I've called a lot of heath fragrant, don't confuse it anymore, chalk fragrant orchids previously that were actually marsh fragrant when they're this packed in. Now I've got 2 fragrant orchids side by side here, just to prove the point really. This is a chalk fragrant. You can see it's well spaced out flowers, nice airy sort of flower head. Chalk fragrant orchid, and if I swing to the left, marsh fragrant orchid. You can see a different flower head, it's taller, more cylindrical. I know it, no spaces, it's all packed in tight. That's a marsh fragrant orchid for definite. It's going to be quite a big one as well when it fully opens. I've just scrambled down to a lower level. I've not been down here before, and looks like I've hit the jackpot in terms of fragrant orchids, and these are nearly all marsh fragrant orchids. There's some quite large ones down here. I don't know if you can pick these up on the camera, but there's a lot ahead of me. Hundreds. See if we can find a good one. A few common Twayblades down here as well. Didn't see any up top that were still with life, as it were. Just to prove the point, that's a chalk fragrant orchid, and as I say, you can see through the flower head. There's no density to the flowers. A definite chalk fragrant. So they are mixed up. That's quite a nice, don't know what you call that, dusky pink, dusky purple, common spotted. There's a few nice common spotted on this lower level. That one really burns when you get close to it. A lot of colour in that. The scent down here is magnificent, it really is. Really, really strong. Very, very nice. And you know, Hawthorn Dene has redeemed itself. And I was on the way out. I'd given up but I thought I'll drop down this path. Never been down here before, never been on this level, and it's magnificent, as you can see. Marsh fragrance everywhere, chalk fragrance in amongst them, and a few common spotted. Really nice. Saved the day really. I was just too late for the higher levels. They've gone over. Lots of orchids here, but 3-4 weeks ago it would have been magnificent, and I kind of knew that. Chanced my arm and it went wrong, but this has made up for it. This has made it worthwhile. Yeah, brilliant. Well done, Hawthorn Dene again.